Hi friends, sorry, in my last video the server got hanged, so I have to pause the video. So in this video we will start from there itself. So first let me show you that we were inside this container. Okay, so now again let me go inside this container, and for that I already shared the command. This docker exec command is there. Exec means execute along with it. It is must, and the option base or any of the command is also must. Suppose when I will run without this command, then what the error? So I will get the error, and what the error I am getting is that Mister, you are missing any of the argument. Why this argument is mandatory? Because if you will give any whatever the command you will give over here, that will be running as a process inside that container. So please make sure that whenever you are running or moving inside any of the container, any of the command is mandatory. Right now I am running base command. So you can notice that I came inside this container. Okay. So last time you might have noticed that when I was using the command in the container, I was getting the error like command not found. However, it should be there because as part of the operating system, and operating system contains all the commands. But here what the Docker says, see, here the Docker concept came. What I shown you earlier, that this Ubuntu image was having only 69 MB of space. But if you will go with the real ISO image of the Ubuntu, it will be having minimum 2 GB of size. So how this size has been reduced? Docker says that please go ahead with the minimal required package. See, when you are installing any Ubuntu images or Ubuntu server, means container, so VI or any editor is not mandatory over here. Suppose if any user is using that image, Ubuntu image or any of the images, so for that editor is not mandatory. However, flexibility is there. You can install that packages if you required for your personal use. But what the Docker says, please include those packages only which is mandatory for all users. Suppose if I will run the ls command, I am able to view all the files over here because this is the mandatory command. ls should be there so that a person can view all the files are there. So in my last video I already have installed nano command. So now I will be showing you if I will give nano Amit. So you already came inside this Amit. Now let me make any changes. This is nano command. So now to move out of this command, first you have to press Ctrl G. So after pressing the Ctrl G, you will get all the options and shortcut key for that. And what is the shortcut key for that purpose? So as I have to move out of this terminal, so I will use F2 command. Okay, so I pressed F2 from my keyboard. So after that, I am getting the message that are you sure you want to move out? You want to save this or not? Do you want to save this or not? So I pressed N and I haven't saved it. So I came out of this. So you got clear concept that why this Docker images size is reduced or is of low size. Okay. So you got the container concept. Now one more thing I want to share over here. Now remember you are inside the container. You are inside the container. Okay. So let me show you. Create etc os release. Notice you are running this server is RHEL server. RHEL CentOS Linux. See, this is the same server. Create etc. So you can see this is my server details. This I am running from my server IP, and this is my server details, that what is the version of my server. So I had seen that my server is RHEL 7.6, and on top of my server I have installed Docker, and on top of Docker I have pulled Ubuntu images, and I run a container of the Ubuntu, and I came inside that Ubuntu. Now when I am giving the image OS release of that, you can clearly see that it is an Ubuntu image with the blah 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 version. Okay. So what I mean to say here that it means clarifies that this images this container inside which you are is of Ubuntu. Okay, now let me run df-h command. I think you must be aware of df-h if you are aware of Linux basic. df-h is used to means view the list of the hard disk details, that what hard disk means file system details. The df means details of the file system, and -h means in the human readable format. Okay, so they have given the details of the file system. Now notice, now I am inside the container. I am getting this one. Let me run this same command from my OS level, from my server level. See what I am getting, 2 GB is used and 8.1 GB is free. The same thing I am getting over here as well. Now you can, what the thing you can notice over here means, what I said earlier, Docker uses host level virtualization. Are you getting my point? Host level virtualization means we came inside the container, but what the resources or what the host Docker will use, take it from the host only. Docker will, if suppose I will use 5 GB of operating system over here, inside the container itself you will be able to view that 5 GB has been utilized, because Docker or any container will be utilizing this space of the server only, because it is hosted on top of the host level, it is on top of the host and it is host level virtualization. Now the second thing comes, which is the pros for the Docker, which facilities is not there in the virtualization of hypervisor or physical virtualization. What is there? See, in case of physical virtualization, what happens? That you have assigned some resources to any server. Suppose I did the virtualization of any server on top of hypervisor, and I have assigned 100 GB of hard disk to that server. So what happens in that case? That server gets provisioned and 100 GB space has been allocated to that server. So what is the drawback over there? See, drawback is that suppose a client has said that Mr. I required a server with 100 GB of hard disk to run any of my application. So the operational team has provided that server to the client. But what the thing is that client need to run suppose any application, and that application requires only 20 GB of hard disk. So what the drawback is there, that 80 GB hard disk will be kept over there as unutilized. That will not be utilized over there. But in case of Docker, Docker does the physical level of virtualization. It does the host level of virtualization. What Docker says, that please you provide how much of resource you want to assign it to the host operating system, and on top of that just install the Docker, and Docker will use the resources as per the requirement. Suppose I am inside this Ubuntu container, so inside this Ubuntu container I will run any of the applications. Suppose I will install, I will show that in creating image of our own, in that I will, so no, let me say only this, that suppose if I will install 5 applications, Tomcat applications, Nginx or multiple applications I will run over here. Okay, so what will happen? Let me try to show you practically. See what happened. I just tried to pull the Tomcat. So I am written Tomcat. I can't pull it directly from here. Okay, but suppose I can pull any other images, like I am pulling Git. So what I want to show over here, that this Git package has been installed, or this has been utilized. So what now I want to explain you, Now you can see the resource available is 8.0. Previously it was 8.1. Means this Git has utilized 100 GB, 100 MB of resource, and automatically Docker has provided it. And again, if I will run the same df-h command in the host level, see the modified resource availability is 8.0 GB, which previously was 8.1. Now it is 8.0. What I mean to say here that Docker doesn't preserve the means memory or whatever hard disk. It doesn't preserve or reserve for them any container. Docker says whenever my container will require any of the hard disk space or RAM or CPU, if your host operating system do have, they will take it from there. So what happened? I just installed the Git package. So Git package required 100 MB of space. Automatically it just utilized the space from here. And see, previously used was 2 GB only. And now it came 2.1 GB. So what I mean to say that Docker container is utilizing the space inside the container, but that space will be taken from the host level. So this is the main concept of the Docker. You should know the clear concept of this Docker, that how the Docker virtualizes on the host level. It is the host level virtualization. This is the main concept which many people don't know, and they move forward with the Docker. So this should not be there. Before moving forward, you should have clear concept of how the Docker is virtualized, how Docker uses the virtualization. So Docker always enables the host level virtualization. Okay. So I had already shown that whatever I will run over inside, suppose I will run a package which will utilize 4 GB of space. Now already they will take the 4 GB of space from this operating system hardware. Okay. No need to worry. This is the most good thing in the Docker. Now the thing is, how will you move out of the Docker or container? Already you are inside the container. Suppose you wanted to see anything, you already had seen. Now one more thing I remember. One more thing. Are you able to see? These all are the basic command. But what error I am getting? That this command is not found. Okay. So what I mean to say here that you will be able to view only those command which is mandatory for any package. However, I can install this package. I can install this command so that I can use it. But by default it is not there in the operating system. Okay. So I think this is you got the clear funda of that, how Docker virtualizes and Docker concept. Now let me go show you let me go through the documents which I have prepared for you. Okay. So now, as I think you should have remembered, I had said you in my earlier video that the default root directory of the Docker is where lib, and inside this Docker is installed. This is the default directory. Do you remember when in the beginning when we went inside the container, we got nothing was there. But now, as if you will see, two files you are able to view 2 files, but previously nothing was there. Now what is this file is? Let me give you a brief idea of this. This is the command to run your Docker container, to view your Docker container. So I already 2 container is there. Are you able to view? The container ID one is C324A. Are you able to find this same container ID over here? Actually this is the short container ID, but this is the long container. This is the total A to Z complete ID of this container. And the second ID C62B you will be able to view over here. Okay. So what I mean to say that whatever the container you will be having, you can be able to view from here. Now suppose let me remove one container. I am removing one container. To remove the container, the command is rm. But again note down that you can't remove any container directly which is in the powered on state or running state. So suppose let me try to run this rm command. What error I am getting? You can't remove any of the container which is in the running state. First stop the container before attempting to removal or force remove. See, two option is there. Remember both the process. Either you can stop the container or you can remove it with the same command. Or the other option is you can forcefully remove this container. To forcefully remove any container, you have to use -f command. So I am using -f command to remove this container forcefully. So now you can see docker ps, this container has been removed. You are no longer you are able to view this container. Now what I want to show you that we are inside this container directory. Previously we were able to view two directories was there, two files was there with the different name, with the containers ID name. Now let me give ls command. Now you are able to view only one ID, one file is there. What I mean to say is that whenever you will create a new container, whenever you will run any new container, automatically the container ID will be created over here. And whenever you will remove any container, automatically the container ID will be removed from here. Now what the container ID contains, what this file contains, that I will explain you different in a separate video. But as of now I only want to explain you that if I came inside this container ID, we are able to view config.v2.json file. This is a configuration file. Means whatever the Ubuntu image is behaving, all this configuration has been mentioned inside this JSON file. Okay. So different folders are the different file structure is there. I will explain each and every one. So as of now this is not that much important. So let me move back. So again I am back to my operating system. So what I want to say that any of the container contains only the minimal required package which is mandatory to run that package, and this is the reason or this is the cause that any of the images size is less in compared to the real size of that ISO image or ISO file or any of the installable file. So the next thing I was discussing, how will you move out of this container? You can't directly come out of the container like close the server or like that. This is not the right process. So how will you move out of the container? So either you can use exit command or you can use Control D, but these are not the suggested way. See, I have used comment option over this command, that's why this command is not ran. If I would have used exit without this command, then I would have came out of this container. But why exit command is not suggested? See, do you know the options between restarting your computer and force restarting your computer? What is the difference between both of them? Restarting means simply you will go to the restart option and you will just press a restart option over there and your system will restart. But suppose your system got hanged and you are not able to view anything or you are not able to process anything in your system, then in that case what you does? You just forcefully press your power off button and your system goes down and you just restart it. So the same thing applies over here. If I will give the exit command, what it will do? Forcefully it will go out of this container and it will stop all the process which is running. It will not consider any of the process. So what is the suggested command? Control plus Q plus Q. Always go with this command. this command will take you out of this container, and also this will not kill any of the process which is running. So I am pressing Ctrl P2 from my system. So see, when I pressed, immediately I came out of my container. Okay, are you clear? So now if you will see Docker PS, you will find that the container is still running. But if I would have used exit command, you would have found that this container went into the stopped status, or I say exited status. So always try to use Ctrl P2 to move out of the container. So I already had explained you what is the importance of the Docker container file system, and I will explain the importance of all these file system in my upcoming videos. But as of now, remember that this is the where lib docker is the default directory of the Docker, and this container directory, inside this directory we will get all the IDs of the container which is the existing in my Docker engine. Now Docker PS-A, already I had explained Docker PS-A is to look for the containers. This is the command to get the containers list, and -a is used to get all the list, either it is in the powered off state or it is in the running state. Get all the list of the container. The next command is Docker images. With the Docker images, you will be able to view whatever the images is present in your Docker operating system. Sorry, Docker engine. Now the next command is pull. In the beginning only we have used this Docker pull command. What this pull command will do, it will just pull the images of your container it will just pull the images from the Docker hub, nothing else. Like I used the Docker pull Ubuntu command, so it just pulled the Docker Ubuntu images from the Docker hub. Next is I ran the Docker Ubuntu command. Now again I want to explain -it -d. -I is for interactive mode, -t is for terminal, -d is for detached mode or daemon or background process. This already I had explained you in details in the video. So already we have used this command to go inside to run the container. So to run the container we have used this command, and we can use Docker container PS or Docker PS to get all the list of the container we are having, and Docker images command to look the Docker images we are having. So now Docker exit command, already we have seen this command as well. Docker exit command is to go inside the container, inside the running container. To go inside the running container we use Docker exit along with -it. -it is mandatory. If you don't give -it option, then you won't get any terminal or interactive mode session. You won't get along with the container ID and any of the process or command you can run, so that command will run in the background. Okay, so by running this execute command, I came inside the container, and inside the container if I will see the host name, I will be able to see the host name of the container. And one more important thing is that always Docker container considers their host name as the Docker container ID. Let me show you this practical. Let me move inside this container. So to move inside the container, already I said the command Docker exec -it container ID base. So I am inside the container. Okay. Now let me give the host name. So what you are doing? See, this is the container ID and this is the host name. Host name and container ID both are same. What I mean to say that Docker will give the same host name to the container with the container ID name. Okay. So these all are the commands which I ran inside the Ubuntu image. So one more thing, ps-f. ps-f is the command to view the process, whatever the process is running in your container. Okay, in your Linux operating system. So when I am giving this ps-f, you should notice only one thing. PID1. PID1 is assigned to whom? Bin base. Means, do you remember that when I came inside this container as a command, I used, see here, when I came inside the container, I used base command. Base command I used, so base command is considered as the PID1. So you can see the running process in this container. Only base is running because I given the base command, and whatever the command I will give over here, that process will run. Okay. So here I have given the base. So base is running as your process, and the process ID has been assigned to 1 to the base. Now to come out of the container, you can either use exit command or docker control plus pu plus k, control plus p plus q. Okay. So as I suggested, docker to come out of the container, exit is not the suggested way. Always use docker plus p plus q command. Okay. Now the next thing is docker container. As I have only one container, okay, noise. So let me see. See, as of now I am having only one container. DOC KR. Yes. But let me run multiple containers. See, I ran this same command 4 times. Means what happens? The 4 new containers has been created, which you will be able to view over here. Are you able to view? All is created 8 seconds ago, 7 seconds ago. This all you can view over here. So what I did, I used the same image and I used the same container. Now what I want to say of you over here, this 5 container means 5 different Ubuntu server you have in your Docker engine. Okay, got my point? 5 different Ubuntu server you have in your operating system. Now let me show you one important thing. See, docker states command I used. Docker states command gives you the status of all the containers, which containers is using how much of resources. So when I given docker states command, I am able to view that this is my container ID and they are using just 0% of CPU. You can imagine how lightweight Docker container and Docker image is. How lightweight. They are using just 0% of CPU. Why 0% of CPU? Because no process is running inside that. So what Docker says, if no process is running inside you, if no application has been installed and it is running inside you, please don't consume or don't reserve any of the space, hard disk space or RAM or CPU from my host operating system. This is what Docker suggests. So see, all the containers are in running state, but they are not utilizing even a 0.01% of CPU. So you can understand what is the beauty of Docker and why Docker is booming in the market. This 5 container means 5 different Ubuntu server is there in your Docker engine, but they are not using even 1% of CPU. So that is the best thing Docker provides. Now what is the memory uses? They are using only 400 KB of memory out of 900 MB of memory. Means I have around 1 GB of RAM is there and they are using only 400 KB, which is negligible. 400 or 100 KB is negligible. So now the important thing what I want to explain over here, these 4 newly created is consuming 400 KB, but why this is consuming 100 MB? Why this oldest one is consuming 100 MB? Do you remember in the first container or the oldest container, we have installed Git package inside the container? That Git package required memory. So what did Docker suggest? Okay, something is installed inside you, so you require memory. Okay, no, so take it from host operating system. So they are taking only this container is taking the memory. Means whoever requires, just take it. Don't require, please don't reserve. Only this funda or this concept is there. If you require anything, take it from the Docker. engine or host operating system. But if you don't require it, please don't reserve or don't preserve it. That is what the concept or funda of Docker is. So you can see how easy it is. Only one process is running in the first 4 container, and the 3 processes running in this container, as we have installed our Git package. Okay, I think you are clear. So you got the concept of Docker states and how easy Docker is. So here I have used the Nginx Tomcat multiple images. I will show you the practical with all the images. Here I have used only Ubuntu image. Okay. So I think we have covered almost all the topics from Docker container parts. So let me check. Docker inspect. This is very important. Very important. I think some spelling mistake is there. Oh, okay. See what error I got. Some argument is missing. Docker inspect is the command. But you want to run Docker inspect for whom? For what you want to run this Docker inspect command? So that the Docker says. So what we have to do over here? We have to mention the container ID. And for which container ID we want to inspect. And inspect is for the giving all the details of the server. So what I will do over here, Docker PS. So I got my container. Okay. So what I am going to show here over here, Docker inspect and container ID. See. So now you are able to view all the details of this container. Means whatever the container we have installed run over here, means you can say it as simply as Ubuntu server or Ubuntu operating system. Inside the Ubuntu operating system, whatever the configuration is there, you can view everything. That this container is having a unique ID of this one, which is nothing but container ID. As you can see, C324A. But if you want to view the complete path of this one, then you can go inside the container path, which I have already earlier discussed inside the root directory of the container. There you will be able to view the complete directory path of this, complete name of this one. Now when it is created, all the details they have mentioned. What is the default path or we have created with the default path. So what is the status? It is already in the running status. Suppose if I will stop this container and after that I will do the inspection, then I will get this status as stop status. So these all are you can view all the things. I will suggest once go with all the mentioned parameters, because you will get something better. What the image is, already we have explained you. When you will go inside the image folder, okay, let me show you everything as a practical. I don't want you to miss a single thing, so that you will not be in a confusing status. I want you to be clear concept with this Docker. Okay. I am going inside my root directory of Docker. I came inside. So now I will go inside this Docker image. Now let me go inside this overlay. Are you able to view this SSA 256? Now I will go inside this. Please view this name. What the name is? 7698. I think there it is showing the container ID. Are you able to view the same name? 7698. See here. I have just enlarge this size. Are you able to view the screen now? Yeah, you will. Yeah, see, this is the path. You can mention the path over here. Inside this path when I went, this is the image ID which is showing you over here. Okay, so this is the image ID, and you can just view the host name, host path. All the directories are mentioned over here, inside which they have just provisioned everything. So these all are the driver. Driver is overlay. I will explain you what is the driver and what the different type of network driver is there. This container is using overlay is there. Overlay they are utilized. So in the networking part, I will explain you what the overlay is and what actually it does. So you can view all these important things. So so you can go inside the, if you will do the practicals, you will get everything. See, in the configuration part, I am getting the host name and what the user domain name, whatever it is, all the configuration details I will get over here. Okay. So in the network setting, I am getting all the networking related parts. So what the networking part is. Yeah, one more thing I forgot to say you. See, if you are following my complete videos from the beginning, then you might have noticed that in my first video I have explained. In the first video I have explained that Docker 0 is the networking bridge for this. So this is the IP address for my Docker network. This IP address is reserved always. And for the new containers, whatever the new containers I will create, Docker will assign the IP address like 172.2.7.17.0.234. Like this it will assign. So as you can see over here, it is assigned the 3 IP address to this server. The gateway is the same which the Docker 0 is reserving. This is considered as the gateway. Now the flow, how the flow happens, this I will explain you in the details in the networking parts, but as of now understand that this IP is reserved for the Docker engine, and the Docker engine assign all the free IPs after this 1, 2, 3, 4, likewise it uses to assign. So as of now I will say you can go into the brief and details for all the parameters, whatever it is mentioned over here. I think I have explained all the important parameters what you should remember. So I think this is sufficient for this Docker images. Okay, let me check if anything is missed. Already I have config.v2.json. Already I have informed you, said you earlier that this JSON file give all the informations that what the Ubuntu server is having and what they does. So this exec command already I have discussed everything. Now one more thing. Okay. Let me explain you one more thing. Suppose clear. Now you can see Docker PS. Okay. Now I want to remove this container. Already I have used the rm command which I had shown earlier, that by using the rm command I can remove the container. Now again I will show you complete thing. Docker rm container id. This time it will show me the error that container is in the running state. So first you stop the container, after that please remove it. See, I got the same error that stop the container before removing it. So what I am going to do, I will stop this. So what I did, I have stopped this container. So this time you will not get this container in this list. So how will you get? Docker ps-a. So in this -a command, you will get that this Docker container has been exited and this has been stopped. This is in the exited state. So now simply I can use rm command, docker rm this. Now you can see Docker ps-a. Now you can simply see that this container is no more. In the A, means in the all list I am given, This is no more. This has been removed from entire my Docker engine. So this was the first step. This was the one way. Now suppose I want to remove the container in other way. Docker ps, docker inspect. Now what I am doing, I did the inspection, I run the inspect command which I had explained you earlier. So with the inspect command, you will be able to find PID, means on which process ID, this container is running. So I will be getting this process ID anywhere around. Let me search for this PID, process ID. So anywhere I will get the process ID. So whenever I will kill that process ID, see, process ID mode is blank. Okay. See, this PID concept can't be applied in this, as this is the operating system. But this, okay, no, I got. See, this is the process ID. So this container is running on top of this process ID. So now what I want to show you, see, I am going to run this container. Which container? 5D7, which is this container, and this container is running on top of this 20757 process ID. So what I am going to do over here, I will just kill this container ID, and this container ID has been killed. So what I will do now, when I will run this command, docker ps-a, so in this case, what you are getting, that this already has been exited or this has been killed. See, when you will go in the previous stage, this 5D, it was in the up state, but now you can see it is in the exited state, means we have killed the process ID. And when I am trying to kill this process ID again, what I am getting, already no such process is there. If this such process was there, then that might has been killed. But in the present scenario, no such process is there. That message I am getting. Okay. So I think you got the funda that how can we kill or remove the process container. So I have covered all the topics, all the points which is mentioned in the document. So I am going to upload this document in my Facebook page, Devops G. So you can download this document from there if you want to do practice. And again I am requesting to all the viewers, please don't only watch this video, please do the practical as well parallelly, because doing the practical only will help you to clear the concept or funda. So parallelly do the concept, and if you faces any doubts or any issue while running the container or anything, you can post your comment in the Facebook Devops G group. I will try to answer it as soon as possible. So this is what I can say as of now. In this topic we have covered almost all the things of containers and images. So I will give more idea of containers and images in the next video. So for this video I think this is sufficient. So bye bye, we will catch up in the next video. Bye bye.